Good afternoon, dear tutor. My name is Akira Moya, and below I am going to show you my identity card. So the topic that I am going to talk about is classroom activities to teach reading, writing, listening, and speaking using literary texts and connect them with the teaching of culture, where I include texts about Ecuadorian, English speaking, and other cultures of the world. So let's start. In the process of teaching language skill, it is vital to include a variety of cultural viewpoints to offer students a comprehensive educational experience. Through the utilization of literary texts from Ecuadorian, English-speaking, and other cultures, teachers can create tasks that smoothly blend reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills, all the while promoting intercultural comprehension. Let's continue. Reading and listening activities with Ecuadorian culture. To begin, I will ask my students to read chapter 1 of the novel Huasipungo or The Villages by Jorge Icaza, considered a classic of Ecuadorian literature that explores the exploitation and injustice suffered by indigenous people in the Ecuadorian Andes at the hands of landowners and the feudal system. After the reading, I will play a recording narrated by myself for them to listen about the cultural significance of the novel Huasipungo. Speaking and writing activities with Ecuadorian culture. After listening to the audio, I will ask my students to give me in their own words a short summary of what they understood from the audio in a speaking form. Finally, I will ask my students to write in a paragraph what they find most striking about chapter 1 of the novel Huasipungo. In my personal opinion, I think that Huasipungo is a good Ecuadorian novel which helps the student to understand more about Ecuadorian culture, and also through this novel, the students improve their skills such as speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Reading and listening activities with English-speaking culture. To begin, I will assign my students to read a short story by an English-speaking author called The Lottery by Shirley Jackson from USA. The story is about a small rural community in the United States that annually holds a traditional lottery, but with a dark twist. Then I will ask my students to listen to the video that I am going to show them, where the video gives a summary and analysis of the short story Lottery. This video will help my students to understand another culture and how it is different from the Ecuadorian culture. Writing and speaking activities with English-speaking culture. After the video, I will ask my students to write the most important points from the short story and then transfer to a concept map. And finally, with the help of the concept map, my students will make an oral presentation explaining the most relevant points they consider from the short story. Reading and listening activities with other world cultures. To begin, I will give my students two folk tales from different cultures around the world, which are the tortoise and the hare from Greece, and the blind man and the elephant from India. Then I will ask them to read each of the stories. Next, I will ask my students to listen to an audio recordings of native storytellers, and scholars talking about the cultural significance and universal themes of these traditional tales. Speaking and writing activities with other world cultures. Next, I will ask my students to work in groups to create a short dramatization or theatrical performance of either folk tale, incorporating their understanding of the cultural context. Finally, I will give my students a worksheet on which they have to write in the blank space the word they think is correct. Through the incorporation of reading, writing, listening, and speaking activities linked to a variety of cultural texts, educators have the opportunity to cultivate a more profound comprehension of language, literature, and the human experience with diverse cultural settings. So, thanks, dear tutor. That is all.